Hello there and God bless. I just wanted to come on here and share a dream that I had several months ago. And I actually, when I first had the dream, I think the next day or a few days after, I actually made a video to like put on YouTube. But for some reason it wasn't working on the video editor, and so I kind of like, I guess, gave up and I left it and I never ended up making the video. But I'm now just recording it on my phone because I feel like it's really important what God showed me through this dream, and He gave me a better understanding of it as time has gone by. And I think it's something really important for these times right now that we're living in, and just always, as believers of and followers of Christ, it's a really important message. And so basically, I'll just get into the dream. So I was like, so I used to be a One Direction fan, and so in the dream, I was like at their concert or something. I was at their concert with like two friends or something, and so I was at the One Direction concert, and then like next scene, like in your dreams when you just like are in one place and then suddenly you're in another place. It's like you're just like transitioning to this next part of the dream. Well, suddenly I was like in a vent, like the vents that they have in the ceiling that you crawl through, that people crawl through in like the Spy or whatever movies and stuff you can imagine. Well, that's what was happening in this dream. I was like crawling through this vent in darkness, and I like didn't know how to get out, but I could like hear the concert. So I was still like at the concert, and I could hear the concert going on in the background. So I was trying to, like follow the noise to find a way out. And I also took out my phone and I turned on the flashlight to try and find a way out. And it wasn't working until it finally hit me in the dream that I should pray and ask God. And so I don't even remember that I had the prayer. All I had was like the conscious thought, like, oh wait, I should pray. And then as soon as I thought that, it became bright and I could see, like in the vent, I could see. It was like I can't explain the light. It just became bright, like daylight or something, but that doesn't make sense because I'm in a vent, so there's no daylight or anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, that happened. And then the dream was over and that was it. I assume I found the way out, because I could see where I was going. And so when I had that dream, I was like, what does this mean, Lord? Like, what is this dream? What are you trying to show me through this dream? Because, yeah. And so what God revealed to me was like, are you relying on yourself or are you relying on me? So like, are we relying on God or are we relying on ourselves and what we can do to get ourselves out of certain situations? Or are we relying on works to save us? Like work salvation, because we know that salvation is a gift by grace and faith, and all we have to do is accept it and believe in the finished work of Jesus on the cross, and that's our salvation right there. We can't earn it by working. And so that's like the newer thing that I learned, but at the time what I learned was that I was just kind of like trying to rely on my own ways to get out of this vent rather than going to the source, like the only one who can truly and wants to help us in these situations where it seems almost like impossible, like how am I going to get out of this? God is the one. He's the one we need to go to. And so the minute that I, thought, let me seek the Lord, that's when He provided for me. He provided the way out. He provided His light. And so I think that's just so important to think about when we're going through something, because in my dream I was relying on my phone, my phone flashlight to help me, which I was at a concert. I can imagine that my phone would probably be on like 10% because I'd probably be recording the whole time and stuff. And so you can't rely on something like that. It's gonna die. And I was trying to listen to the noise. I don't know. I'm just my point. It's just like, focus on God and go to God first and not last. Go to Him first because He will already make like solution from the beginning. He will provide in his time, in his way, because his ways are not our ways, and that's because his ways are better than our own ways. And also, I had, when I first had the dream, I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, when I was reading in the Bible. I was reading in Isaiah, and I read through this one verse that like literally was what it reminded me of my dream, you know? And so let me just read it. It comes from Isaiah 50, and it's in verse 10 through 11. So let me just read it all. Who among you fears the Lord and obeys the voice of his servant? Let him who walks in darkness and has no light trust in the name of the Lord and rely on his God. Behold, all you who kindle a fire, who equip yourselves with burning torches, walk by the light of your fire and by the torches that you have kindled. This you have from my hand. You shall lie down in torment. So it's just crazy because this verse literally is like the explanation of what God is trying to show through my dream. I believe that's exactly what he was showing me through that dream, is that, like, you know, literally it says, let him who walks in darkness, in my case, I was crawling through darkness, but, and I had no light, so let him walk in darkness and has no light, trust in the name of the Lord and rely on his God. And so once I did that, he provided the way out. But, you know, before I even got to that realization in the dream, I was kindling my own fire. You know, I was equipping myself with a burning torch, like with my pride and with my, you know, like with my own method to get out, and my own power, I guess, you know, which I don't have, and, you know, just my own method, and like using like my phone. That's like the burning torch, you know what I mean, that I was using. And so, like, you know, walk by the light of your fire and by the torches you have kindled, and you shall lie down in torment. Because God, he does not want us to rely on ourselves. We're supposed to die to ourselves, you know? We're supposed to die to ourselves to follow him, because that's what Jesus said, you know, you deny yourself, pick up your cross and follow me. And that means we cannot keep relying on ourselves and going to God last, or only going to God when we need something from him, or, you know, as like a last kind of resort, because he's supposed to be our one and only, and our first person to go to. Because, like, if we go to him first, you know, he will make the way, and, you know, we won't have to have had so much time wasted like in panic or anxiety or worry, you know, because that's what I felt in the dream. You know, I was like panicking because I'm like, why am I in this vent? How do I get out of this? Like, this is terrifying, you know, like, let me try and figure it out by myself. You know, and it's like, no, like, God just says, just come to me, bring everything to me, you know, just lay it all at the feet of Jesus, and he, you know, he's gonna, you know, honor that, and he's gonna make your way. He's gonna make your path straight. He will he will show you the way out of the darkness, you know. So yeah, that was the dream that I had, and I felt like I needed to come on here and share it in case it would encourage someone else, because we need to, especially in these times, like, you know, in Corona and just all the chaos that's unfolding right now, like in the United States and just in the world. Things are only gonna get worse, we know that, and we need to rely on God. We need to go to him. We need to rely on him more than we've ever relied on him before, you know, because he is our friend and our life coach, our director, our teacher, our father, everything. He's everything for us, and we find everything that we need in him. So, you know, it's time to just seek him, you know, and just trust him, you know, and whatever you need, you can always ask him. Like, if you're struggling with anything, like, God is a friend. Treat him like a best friend, because that's what he is, and he just wants to hear from you. He already knows everything that you're going through, so you might as well just talk to him openly about it, you know, and just always be in that direct communication with him, like through prayer, you know. And it doesn't have to be like you have certain appointments during the day where you need to pray. You can just pray whenever. Talk to him in your head, pray in your head, even when you're doing tasks, like when you're driving the car, when you're mowing the lawn, I don't know, when you're brushing your teeth, like getting ready to go somewhere, whatever it is, whenever it is, just talk to him in your head. You know, he's your friend, and talk to him about everything that you're going through. Tell him like all the worries that you're facing, like when you're struggling with anger or whatever it is, because he's the one who will help you with it, so you don't have to like feel so ashamed. Like don't let the enemy like you know, he's gonna try to get in your head and make you feel like you need to feel guilty or like you're not enough to come to Jesus, but that's his lie, you know, because Jesus died for that cause, you know, and so that our guilt and shame can be crucified with him, and that we can just walk in freedom and liberation because of his great sacrifice for us, you know. It's all about love. So, you know, ask him for whatever you need. Like, ask and you shall receive in Jesus' name, as long as it's in alignment with his will, you know. And if you read his word, you will know what his will is. You will know what he desires and what he wants to give us and his promises. So that's why it's so important to stay connected to him through prayer and through reading his word and learning more about him, and just always ask what you need in prayer, because he wants to give it to you. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. God bless you, whoever's watching. God bless you so much. He loves you so much. Continue to seek him in these times. You know, he wants to hear from you, and you will just be so blessed. And he wants to use us, like, you know, for his kingdom glory. He wants to, you know, he wants to lift up our voices for him. And, you know, first we have to just spend time with him, keep spending time with him. So yeah, Jesus loves you so much, and thank you so much for watching, and God bless you. Bye.